This is the 2019 auction draft sleepers and duds, studs and busts preview for you so you can do well in your auction draft. So come to FantasyFootballDraft.com. I'll put that in the description and log in and click on Robo Auction. And it gives you a little background information here first. And let's start Robo Auction. And then you set your budget. So my budget is $200. I usually leave a little bit for a backup budget. I can apply and then go to the next step right there. And then I see sometimes if I haven't already visited my cheat sheet, um, the player values here will be missing. So there's a link at the bottom, or I should say, there's a link will appear if it's empty, and you can go visit your cheat sheet just to make sure that there's values there. And then when you come back to here, you can see their projected pay and their index values. The index value is basically what they're going to score given your customized scoring configuration. And this starts with the quarterbacks, and you can sort by their pay and see who's the highest paid. Obviously Mahomes, and then Luck and Rodgers. And then their index value is here, and you can edit these if you want. They look pretty good to me. You might want to browse through and just see if there's anything out of whack. Um, Typically, RoboCoach gets them pretty close, if not exactly on. Let's take a quick look. McCaffrey is not the highest paid. Zeke and Saquon are. So these numbers look pretty good. So I'm just going to continue, not make any changes, and then it's going to give me the optimal team. And there it is. So uh, I can scroll left and you can see a little bit more. But basically, it's telling me that at for a price of 186, I can get my optimal team. So I didn't even, I think my budget went up to 192. So I didn't even have to spend my full budget to get the best team. Of course, these are, based upon the initial values, and these values will fluctuate once players start getting sold. The supply and demand changes, and so do prices. Sometimes prices drop, and you can make that happen. I'll show you how to do that. But these are the players that I am going to target, um, although stealthily, and I'll show you how to do that. So anything, Odell looks like a good value there. Juju is a good value. McCaffrey, and at quarterback, Winston. Zach Ertz. This looks like an awesome team. I would really like that team. Um, and the way they're doing it is by getting Tariq Cohen, which he is sort of a sleeper. So it depends upon Cohen being a sleeper and not being a dud. But even if he is a dud, then this is still a solid team. So you can look through at different price points. There are different optimal teams that they're always slightly different. So this one shows Dak instead of Winston, and then this one has Winston back again, but we're using Latavius Murray. So they're each one's going to be slightly different, and they're going to have a different overall scoring index over here and a different overall price point. So one thing you can see, this is the starting team. If you wanted to view the optimal backup team, you would select this and go. But let's just get into the live auction draft. So let's say it's your turn to put somebody on the block. Who should you put up there? Should you put one of the players we just looked at? No, don't do that. Those are the players you want to get later on in the draft once you drain the budgets of everybody else in your league. So these are overpriced players here. And right now, Antonio Brown is an overpriced player simply because um, his status is in doubt. So um, people are starting to talk about him retiring, and right now he doesn't have uh, a position on the depth chart. That'll probably change, and he won't be overrated. He'll be back to being a fine player to take. But for the time being, for today, you might want to put him out there and let somebody maybe get stuck with a retiring player. So these other players, Alvin Kamara obviously is not, he's not uh, overrated. I mean, he's a stud, so maybe this is misnamed. But what he is he's very expensive. Everybody knows he's a stud. He's going to score a lot of points, but you're going to pay a lot for that because everybody knows that. So um, these are the players you put out there, Ezekiel, Saquon, Gurley, that you don't want to get necessarily. They're not on your optimal team. And you put them out there, that drains the budgets of everybody else, and then you can come back and get those players that were on your optimal team for the prices that were predicted. So the prices that are predicted are the key thing there. If you get into a bidding war, then players might go over their predicted values. You don't want that. You want to get the players at the prices you thought they were going to go at. So let's put one of those players up there on the block. Let's go running back, and let's put Saquon Barkley up there, and his price is $68, and he's going to get you 335 fantasy points or thereabouts. And we're evaluating him as a starter, and then it gives you, after some checking, it says this is the maximum you should pay for Saquon, between 61 and 68, and that'll probably, the first few picks, there's usually a bidding war, and so you can say, you know, someone else bought that because you didn't pay 68 bucks, and I would have bet that he went for more like 79, 80 bucks out of a 200. Somebody might go out up to 100 on him. So now he's gone. And so that changes everything because one player is no longer available in the supply, and there's one less team that demands a running back. So that's why you have to go through this process again and again and again, and that's why RoboCoach Robo Auction is going to think through every single player. So you keep doing that, you keep putting up players on the auction list that you don't want to draw out money from the other players. You were targeting Jameis Winston, so you can put Tom Brady up there and you'll get somebody hopefully to overbid for Tom Brady, and you click someone else bought and they bid 15, overpaid, and then it goes on and on like that until somebody finally calls out one of your players, and then it's time to stealthily bid. Don't get excited and don't act eager to get the player. So let's take a look at those players again. So when I want to do, after each one of these purchases, or you might want to come back and check your starting lineup just to make sure it hasn't changed, because as players go off the board, things can change, but usually they only change when one of your targeted players goes off the board. Um, so here we go. We've got, let's say McCaffrey goes up next, and we'll just go to the live auction draft, and we'll put McCaffrey up there. We won't, but let's say somebody else did. So we come down to McCaffrey. Where'd he go? McCaffrey, there he is. So Robo Auction is going to think a little bit. He's going to say, all right, let's get him between 73 and 79. So let's say you were able to get him in that range, a little more than you wanted. His price was 66, you can see here, and we'll go up to 73 or 79. So let's say we overbid a little bit and went up to 72. So that changes things a little bit because Robo Auctions calculations were based on a price of 66. So Um, that might throw off our optimal starting team. So let's go back and check it. And you can see McCaffrey is now locked into all the solutions. And yep, we can still get McCaffrey for, well, it's got him as a price of 66. That's not correct. So we're going to have to update his price um, in the player values. Running backs, McCaffrey, projected pay is now 72. And then we'll go back to our best team. And see if things change. There we go. McCaffrey is now 72, and the total price is 192, still within our budget. And I think everything is the same. So we overbid, but we still had a little bit of play in the budget so that we could still get our optimal team. That looks fine. So we would just resume the auction and then continue on putting players up. And once we got through all our players, we would um, start putting up players for our backup. Let's take a quick look at the backup team. So you can go to the best team, and then you can click up view my backup. And these are probably the players that are going for $1 a piece. So, well, for $8, there is no possible team. So we're probably going to have to increase my budget for my backups. So I'll go over here. Let's make this 190 and 10, and then apply. And then I'll come back to best team. Let's see if I can get a backup team now. Yeah, this changed things because now the total price is 190 and uh, I already bid $72 from McCaffrey. So things are going to change. Yeah, now I have to pick up Latavius Murray instead because I don't have as much money to get the optimal team. That's okay. Let's see if I've got a backup squad now that I increased my budget. Probably gonna have to throw some more money into my backup budget to pick up some players. So I can keep playing with this thing and eventually I'll get some players in there. Oops, have to change that to 185 and so on until I get a backup team that um, is going to produce at the level that I'm hoping to get. So back up, go. Still not able to get a backup team. Let's go back to the robo auction and take a look at wide receivers. And let's throw Odell Beckham out there. I think you are probably starting to get the process here. And then you can say, I bought. So let's say I bought Odell for 43 and he was going to go for 36. So you put in 42, let's say. And then he is now on your starting squad. And you can then go check out your auction draft best team. And Odell will be locked into all your optimal starting teams. There he is, Odell. His price is at 36, so we're going to have to change that to 43 because you overpaid a little bit for him. So you go to wide receivers, Odell, 43, submit, and voila. So that's the process, and you can go and check out your best team now and see which players you're gonna target. So now that Odell is going at 43, some things change. We're going to have to Jack Doyle and still have James Winston there, still have Tariq. So for 179, we can get this team. And we just keep repeating the process until we get our entire auction draft team. Thank you very much. This has been Dr. RoboCoach. Please like this video And I will put a link in the description to for you to get to Robo Auction. Thanks again.